What's up, y'all? It is Friday, and today is the fucking day, finally. Or it might be. I got 1,000 more to go to pass these accounts. This is the last day out of the 2 weeks for me to pass 10 accounts and get an extra 500K funding. So if I don't pass the first round today, we'll be a bit behind, as you know, 1 week per half and another week for the other half as well. So I have a K to go. We only risk 250 per trade, so we either got to get a little bit riskier with the position or hold for a 1 to 4 instead of a 1 to 3. So let's see, bro. Let's get right into this shit and let's fucking make this happen. Happy Friday. Here we got US30. As all we can look at is US30. Let's go ahead and go back into our big picture of what we've been speaking about this entire week. Okay, so the start of the week, we're sitting up here, sitting above the 750 level. And so I told you guys one of two things going to happen. We're either going to hold off on this area here. So let me put my favorites bar back up. We're going to hold off on this 750 area and continue to push higher based off of this 4-hour order block, 4-hour demand, based off of this 4-hour support as well. So we did get a decent reaction off of that zone. We ended up taking a buy sitting up here, which we'll go push over to. Just off of the same mechanics of that idea and started to push higher. We ended up hitting nice little 1 to 2 on both of these positions. As soon as it came up to high, we went ahead and removed ourselves a little bit early, and then price tanked from that point. So kind of just going into that same idea, once we break below that 750, I told you guys we expected to be bearish as fuck for the rest of the week. So what have we done the rest of the week? We've been selling the rest of the week and have been killing it. And so this massive candle sitting right here is it's at FOMC, okay? So a massive meeting that had happened, and because interest rates got cut, we had a massive move within the market. So moving forward into today, we'll go through yesterday's trade as well. So although we understood that price has to fill in all of these gaps, okay? So when a massive gap like this gets formed, at some certain point, it has to be filled. At 100%, every gap in the market has to be filled. Don't just take my word for it. Go in the past, look up any gap that has ever been created, and watch how they have all been mitigated to some degree, okay, for the most part. So going down to lower time frames, we were really still trying to play off of that bearish momentum instead of pushing price higher. But yesterday I was okay with buys if we had some bullish structure, just because we had such a big fucking push down. We expect some type of retrace from that move. So nonetheless, let's just go to 5-minute time frame, make this a bit easier. Didn't see anything pre-session, so we were just waiting for our regular setups during session open. Session open was right here. You can see the New York highs and New York lows right here. As soon as we broke below support, which is also breaking below this not so valid trend line because there's only 2 taps to it, it was off to the races from that point. We went ahead and executed as it was hitting our bias. Now I really honestly wanted to get in down here, just because I wanted to see the break below the trend line and the support. As you guys see, I'm pretty big on that. But understanding, higher time frames where price is probably going to go. When session opened up way up here, I didn't want to wait for it to drop, bro. 260 points before getting into this trade. So I went ahead and was a bit riskier and just waited for this very minor break of this support, which, was resistance in the past, so it has a couple taps. But this is the 5-minute time frame, so there's not too much weight to be held at these support resistances. So nonetheless, as soon as we broke below, boom, good to go. As soon as the 1 to 3 gets hit, we're out of the fucking market. And because there was so much volume yesterday, because of FOMC, I ended up using a 50-point stop loss instead of a 25-point stop loss. So we got a nice gain from yesterday's trade. And so what's happened from that point? Well, I mean, we came all the way down to London lows. We pushed back up and barely took a set. We were already out of this trade, obviously, and then came down to actually manipulate these lows here. A nice liquid grab of all the buyers from London session. Obviously, the stop loss was sitting underneath London lows, liquidated, and then price pushed hard from that point, and now just continuing lower. So still to today, still do expect price to just continue to fucking melt off, no need to go against it. However, we're starting to, as you can see now, kind of form the support here. Okay, it's already that is the whatever is sitting right here is the reason why this FOMC push stopped. Okay, and started to get a nice reaction off of it. Now the second time coming back into it, we got a decent reaction, and now we're sitting at it for the 3rd time and still having a really tough time breaking it. So going to lower time frame, just kind of understanding that. If it's potentially something we need to execute off of. So right off the rip, we got a nice little trend line that's forming here. Not validated yet, just because there's not 3 taps to it. And just kind of seeing what happens from this point. So as far as bread and butter, as I always tell you guys, I'm always operating off of previous session highs and lows. Well, look what's currently happening. We have already just taken out London low. So from these buyers here who are already trying to get in on this support, on this retracement, whatever the case may be, their stop losses were sitting below this low, and they just got mitigated and price shoots up from that point. Okay, and so if we were to re-break these lows, pushing down here, that is my bread and butter setup, showing that that liquid grab is not playing out and price is going to continue on with bearish momentum. So as far as the stop loss here, let's see how big the 25-point stop looks today. It looks very tight. So we're going to have to use a 50-point stop loss again today, which is fine, but just got to be very cautious. Because I'll be honest with you guys, even with the 50-point, we're putting all the respect again on volume. And so when we're taking these pre-session trades, just because we're trying to, rush the process a bit, of course, we only have 2 weeks to pass all of these accounts. We don't have that volume aspect on our side because we're taking the trade before all the participants are in the markets, because volume is just another word for participants, and the most participants are in during session open. So just something to be cautious about. Really like to see, a little bit of a rejection from this area when it comes down, and then a strong push, just so I know that, a lot of times, let's say price were to reverse a bit higher, tap into this trend line, and then a massive candle were to come down and break these lows. That's fine. We love that. More often than not, price is going to continue to push lower. But I mean, as you see right here with this big candle, is a great example. Right here, we start to push below these lows with this massive candle. What usually, even though it's going to continue lower, it's obviously very bearish. We usually get a retracement to fill in that gap that was formed before price continues lower. So we try to obviously not get caught up in that shit because we have tight stop losses. And so just got to be, while we're trading before session, I'm definitely going to be a bit cautious. But this is what I want to see, potential tap in the trend line and then push lower to execute. Or if we get a push lower right now, showing that the support is going to fail, so, it's already held multiple times, then we'll look to take price lower. So let's see. All right, Joe. So there's 2 resistances obviously sitting in the way. One that is held in the past, and then one that the most current one. And then number 2, I also had this trend line sitting in the way of just not me not wanting to take this initial break above these highs. So look at what's happened. The fucking thing is sending it. No, I did not take this trade. That's on a 15-minute time frame, by the way. And so what to wait for now? Just some type of retest of this area and then a break back above. Preferably what I want to see happen is a grab of these London highs, because now that we had a grab of these London lows, it'd be nice to see the grab of these London highs. As you guys know, I won't lose money the same way I make money within the market. So if we already had a London grab sitting up here, I'm going to wait for it. And then that newfound resistance that forms, then I'll take a break above that newfound resistance. So we got a little bit of time. We got an hour till session opens, but so far, no trade. This thing is fucking sending it, and we are not in it. So, obviously now we got the break, now we got the retest, now we're speaking about the push back above. But again, just so many things in our way. We have a valid supply sitting right here, nice gap sitting before it. We have London highs sitting up here that are sitting in the same area. And we have a resistance that is held in the past sitting up here. And we are extremely bearish on higher time frame. So for our last trade on a Friday to determine whether we're going to pass this account or it's going to have to hold off for another couple of days or a day, this is not the trade I'm going to take, this break sitting above these highs here. So just going to have to wait for a bit of extra confirmation. But as far as the sell-off, we're starting to show a new level of support sitting down here. So we might move up these buys and not have to take, or move up these sells and not have to take sells so deep down there, So just being very dynamic with the strategy and waiting for the best probability setup to play out today. So we got about 8 minutes until session here. As you can see, the account is loaded up, ready to go. We do have that retest of that area and now that push higher as we spoke about. We really can just see this pushing above these highs and then rejecting mean, even though these look so good for buys. So I'm gonna hold off, be smart about it. However, we're starting to get a good indication here that if we were to break back below these lows here now, that will push lower. So let's break it all down here. As far as buys, we're waiting for a re-break back above and then a bread and butter setup with a newfound resistance, which is going to take a little bit of time here, as long as it doesn't fly without us. But for sells, potentially we're getting a higher level now that we got this break, now that we got the retest and the push higher. If that fails and starts to push lower again, it's kind of good indication that we're going to continue to bleed off. So whether I take this level or this level down here, just all depends on how that session opens here in about 7 minutes. So we got our bias. Let's just execute based upon what we see. 7 more minutes left. Okay, session is open. Still expecting just one last push sitting up here, violating London highs as well, and then a push back lower. And if not, that newfound resistance, that will be the break that we'll take to continue on with these buys. All right, y'all, so we are in this trade. What we're gonna do for this, instead of showing the chart, is we're going to keep this up here so you can see at the top it says 52K. So as soon as we hit 51,500 or 53,000, that's when we're going to go ahead and remove the trade manually instead of actually just looking at the chart. I figured I'll put the chart up right here so you guys can see the chart too as we run through this. Halfway there, we now need 500 bucks more to pass. Come on, baby, give me that fucking money. Okay, so we're about like 250 left from hitting now. And now I'll go ahead and put stops to B. So whatever happens, happens. We're either gonna lose. Who had to be quick on that one? Sheesh. Had to run back over here. So we either hit this extra like 200 bucks or we break even, but we'll go ahead and risk free on this trade. Let's pull out of one of these as we have been doing so we can keep them up. That one wouldn't be able to be passed anyway. Finger on the trigger. Let's go, baby. So close. I need some water. I'm thirsty. All right, we got $150 more to go, $100 more to go. As soon as we hit the 53, I'll pull out. Just a little bit above. Well, it pulls out pretty quick. So as soon as we hit the 3, we'll do it. 100 bucks more, $70 more. Order filled. Let's go, baby. Let's fucking go. Hold on. Let's fucking go, baby. We passed it. Got one, maybe 2 of them passed. And that's a motherfucking Friday, bro. All right, so total P&L today, 953. Our balance is 53K. And let's check out a little bit of stats here. So throughout the course of this, as you see, it's just from this week to the 20th, we've gotten $3,000 in profit. We've taken 11 trades using 36 contracts. Average trade is about 18 minutes. The longest trade is 58 minutes. And we traded at about a 63% win rate. So expectancy, 281, fees, paid 55 bucks, and total P&L 33K. So kind of nice to see these little graphs here. We killed it, you know, losing trades 27%, winning trades 63%, P&L. The lowest trade, the biggest loss I hit was 2,800. The biggest gain I've hit was 1,100 bucks. So kind of looking like 1 to 4 per position, which is wild. But clean, yo. Clean execution here. Here's all of the trades lined up so you guys can see. Losses and wins. Losses are in parentheses, wins are the others. Solid, bro. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's how you close out a Friday.